what's a food you could never grow tired of?
Honestly, I feel like I could eat a lot of just dry pasta.
Like uncooked pasta? Just
No,
crunching it right out of the box?
By dry, I meant sauceless. Cooked.
I see. Really?
Yeah.
No, with nothing to lubricate it?
Oh, why'd you have to use that word, buddy?
I mean, it's gonna get all pasty in your mouth, no?
Yeah, but you get some water.
Oh, water pasta? Criminal. You're a monster.
Yes, that's right. Pasta has never touched water by the time you eat it.
Welcome to Butter No Parsnips. Every week on Butter No Parsnips, your hosts Kyle Imperator and Emily Moyers take you on an adventure through the weird, wacky, wonderful, and sometimes even wicked world of one wayside word. Strange characters, delightful bits, and general joyousness abound. Join them as they test each other's etymological expertise.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Butter No Parsnips. I'm Emily Moyers.
And I'm Kyle Imperator. Oh boy, Emily, I hope you're hungry.
Oh, starved now.
Wow.
Now that I'm thinking about just eating cold pasta by the fistful.
Yeah, audience, you're hearing this for now, and everybody's hearing it. It's real. Emily's committing to only dry pasta for the rest of her life.
That's right. That's right. No sauce for me.
And she's also committing to this word.
Yes, I am. Whatever it is.
Emily, your word today is Macritude. Macritude. Macritude.
Macritude is fantastic. Whatever it means, I am committing to it.
Good.
Yes, I can confirm I'm committed to whatever this is.
Not a type of pasta.
No, it has to be like a noun that's like the state of being macritudinous.
I mean, I wish I could give you points for that. It is technically correct.
Is macritudinous a word?
Yes, it is.
Yes! So, initial thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Macro, big.
Sure.
So macritude could be bigness. I'll make that my wild guess.
Your wild guess is bigritude.
Bigness. Yeah.
Bigness. It is incorrect.
That's fair. Can I get a language of origin on this?
Yes, it's not going to help you. The language of origin is Latin.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll take a hint.
Emily, your hint is diet.
Oh. So, but that's, diet has multiple uses. Could mean like going on a diet like you're eating lean, or could be just like your diet, like what you eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I feel like you mean the first one. And that means...
Who knows?
That macritude is... Oh, when you just think like, if I start talking, I'll get to an answer by the time I finish.
Something will come out.
My brain will fill it in.
Yeah.
Wow. It is... Macritude is it just the healthiness of a food?
Interesting. Wow. That is really interesting, Emily. I use the word interesting when it's incorrect.
Yeah.
But it is interesting answer. You were actually closer earlier.
Really? What does it mean, Kyle? I give up.
Macritude means leanness or barrenness.
Oh, or barrenness.
Yeah, not like a baroness. Barren like empty,
No, I knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Skinniness, thinness, perhaps.
I said the word lean and then threw it away. What a fool.
And you threw it away. You crumpled it up, tossed it into the metal waste basket, and someone else opened it up and patented it.
Thank you for specifying that it was a metal waste basket.
Yeah, you know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like there's no bag in it. It's just metal, and that's what you throw all your crumpled up pieces of paper in.
Yep.
And then it like cuts to a time lapse, and suddenly there's a bunch of them, and they're all over the floor. Yeah,
and then you're like, "What happened? I missed. Where's my life gone?"
Kyle, where's this word gone? Tell me about this word.
Emily,
and
macritude. Unfurling it. So, Emily, the word macritude comes from the Latin macritudo, meaning leanness, thinness, or skinniness. And that comes from macer, which meant of living things lean or skinny, or of inanimate things thin or poor.
How can an inanimate thing be poor?
I don't think it necessarily means poor
of poor
wealth.
Quality.
Yes. Yep.
Gotcha.
You got it. So macer comes from a Proto-Indo-European word. Oh gosh, this is impossible to pronounce, just so everyone at home knows. I forgot how bad this word is. The word is mchros.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
And it just meant lean. And that comes from a root, mech, which meant to raise or increase, or long.
Long?
Yeah. I guess because it's long and thin,
Sure, like stretched
long
out.
And skinny. Yeah, stretched out.
Okay, I'm seeing
Maybe.
it.
Emily, can you think of any other words which may be related to macer? Macer is spelled Macer, if that helps.
Oh, I was imagining an H in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing I'm thinking is like macerate, like chew.
It is not related to macerate. I actually did look that one up. Macerate comes from a different root.
Okay. Tell me, Kyle, I'm a blank.
But you're close linguistically, phonically, you're close. The word we're looking for is emaciated.
Oh, that makes sense, because that also means skinny.
Yeah, it means lean, thin, or haggard, especially from hunger or disease. And that actually comes from the verb form emaciate, which means to make lean or to cause to waste away, from the prefix ex, meaning out, and macies, meaning leanness, thinness, or poverty. Weirdly enough, macies, M-A-C-I-E-S, also came to English in the 15th century as Macy's. Same spelling, but pronounced Macy's. And it's defined as emaciation, atrophy, wasting of the entire body. And it was used mostly in 19th century medical discourse, as Dr. Richard Lubbock wrote in an 1801 edition of the Medical and Physical Journal. From all that has been said, it would seem that the leading circumstance in diabetes is the Macy's.
The Macy's.
The Macy's.
What do we think that means for the department store, M-A-C-Y?
That's a really, really great question, Emily.
It's so huge that by the time you walk the whole store, you are emaciated.
Yeah,
You've
and have diabetes.
That's it.
Actually, when I was trying to look up the pronunciation of Macy's, it was just giving me pronunciation of Macy's, the store. And I was like, no, not that.
But it's the same.
So, Macritude, I'm not going to lie, everybody. Listen, I'm going to be honest. All right,
Kyle, fess up.
I'm fessing up, all right? For the first time in my life, I'm telling the truth. Macritude is a pretty obscure word, all right? It's mostly seen in dictionary entries, first appearing in Henry Cockeram's classic 1623, The English Dictionary, where it was spelled Macritude, M-A-C-H, ritude, like Mach speed ritude. And then it appeared in a few other classic dictionaries of the 17th century, and of course in some later obscure word dictionaries and the like.
Sure.
The Oxford English Dictionary even states in their entry for the word that it's apparently, their favorite word to use, apparently, only attested in dictionaries or glossaries. But I am no Oxfordonian Englishman dictionarian.
That's right. You're none of those things.
I'm none of those things.
You might be a dictionarian at this point.
Well, yeah, that's true. We'll see. And I indeed, Emily, just for you all out there, for the public, for the masses, I found a rare 2 examples of macritude in the wild.
In context?
In context.
Amazing.
And we're going to talk about those 2, just those 2 today.
Word wizard, Kyle.
I'm a word wizard. I'm a wordzard. I'm a whiz word. That one works better, but worse at the same time.
You could have wizard ending with the end of word and it wouldn't change it. Wizord.
Wizord. Yeah. Wizord. So the first example comes from an 1860 volume of the magazine Balloo's Dollar Monthly.
Is this as in the bear?
No, it's spelled Ballou, Ballou.
Okay.
Guess it's of French origin.
Sure.
But in it, there was a piece entitled The Red Whiskered Assassin by one Giacomo S. Campana, very Italian man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it begins, as lean as a Frenchman. And why as lean as a Frenchman, any more than as lean as a Yankee or as lean as a Georgian? Do Frenchmen monopolize all the macritude of the world, or even any undue portion of it?
Great.
That's how that story begins.
That's their opener.
That's their opener.
That's somebody who knows they're using a fun word, you know?
Yes, that's exactly. Yes. They were like, let's get this one in there.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Emily? Do Frenchmen monopolize all the macritude of the world?
Ooh, I know stereotypically that is like one of the places like where if you go there, you will be judged fiercely. So, you know, maybe their leanness factors into that. Who knows?
Yeah, we're going to talk about some French stereotypes a lot today.
Yeah, this is like a running theme on our podcast, is that we really just go for the French.
I think we're really going to have to do a trip to Paris as an apology tour at some point.
Yeah, look forward to that. Our French apology tour.
So I think he's insinuating that as lean as a Frenchman is like a common saying. I did find one other use that specifically says as lean as a Frenchman, but that's it. So I don't know if it's like a common phrase. I couldn't find like any dictionaries like stating it as a common phrase.
Sure.
But he then goes on to explain that it is simply one of those no such things which John Bull has repeated so often that he is now willing to swear to them. Emily, do you know who or what a John Bull is?
I mean, is it related to bull as in the word that means nonsense?
It is not, actually.
Oh, interesting. I'm curious to hear more.
You're going to love this.
I like the idea of John Bull as meaning nonsense.
You're going to like it even more when you find out what it actually means. Yeah. So John Bull is sort of like the British version of Uncle Sam, in that he represents English liberty, but not in like a governmental or authoritative way.
Just general freedom?
Just like the patriotism of England he represents. Okay. He started off as a satirical portrayal of the Whigs, the political party.
Yeah.
And he was created by Scottish physician John Arbuthnot. And his version of John Bull brings a lawsuit against satirical versions of the kings of France and Spain, whom he names Louis Baboon and Lord Strut.
Along with John Bull.
John Bull, Louis Baboon, and Lord Strut. Yeah.
Louis Baboon is great.
It's like perfect, man. If you're going to dunk on the French, that's a good name.
Really good. I had a thought. Is this related to that Britishism bully? Like people say like bully for you, like good for you? I
actually looked that up and it is not. I think I'm trying to remember it. Let me just...
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, I don't even know.
Okay.
I think I'd have to do a lot more research to find out.
They're both good.
So over time, Emily, English writers and political cartoonists started to draw Bull as representative of the common man. He was drawn portly, with a top hat and a waistcoat emblazoned with the Union Jack. And by the late 19th century, the term John Bull could be used by extension to refer to something or someone stereotypically English.
This is like Uncle Sam, but without the like government angle of it.
Yeah, without the big brother aspect.
Yeah. Just like as British can be.
Exactly. For example, Emily, Charles Dickens in his novel Barnaby Rudge is one of the more famous ones.
It's a classic.
Barnaby Rudge, yeah. He says of one gentleman, by some he was called a thoroughbred Englishman, by some a genuine John Bull, but they all agreed that it was a pity they were not more like him, and that because they were not, the country was going to rack and ruin every day.
That is the most British thing to say. It's like, this country is going to ruin.
If only we had more John Bulls. Bully! So, Emily, this is where this episode takes a left turn. I gotta be honest.
Uh-oh.
So, the bull in John Bull, we think, is a reference to the English's alleged fondness for roast beef.
Uh-huh.
It was just like a trope, I guess, that the English leaned into. They were like, yeah, that's us. We're roast beef lovers.
We're going to claim this one.
Yeah. The fondness inspired many a patriotic work, but none was more representative than the ballad The Roast Beef of Old England, written by Henry Fielding for his ballad opera, The Grub Street Opera, which was first performed in 1731.
Hate Grub Street.
I don't even want to know how it got its name.
I'm just imagining like an alleyway full of maggots.
I mean, if it's got just old roast beef sitting there, you know?
It's true. That is what's going to be in there.
Yeah. So the song begins, when mighty roast beef was the Englishman's food, it ennobled our veins and enriched our blood. Our soldiers were brave and our courtiers were good. Oh, the roast beef of old England, and oh, the old English roast beef.
Two different things. The roast beef of Old England and the Old English roast beef.
So they're so very different, and you can't tell the difference unless you're English, you know?
Yes. We couldn't explain it to you. Only a proper John Bull could. He is one of them. He is one of those two things, but I can't tell you which. Yeah. We eat him, honestly, so it's a real Sweeney Todd situation. Oh. Emily, supposedly this song, my sources for this are shaky, all right? But I had to include this information just because there were enough people talking about it. Supposedly, the song became so popular that theater audiences would sing it to christen new plays at any point during the play's performance. They would just be like, we are so joyful about this new play that we're going to sing this song. This song is just erupting out of us.
Yeah. And then also, they used it as a way to get actors off the stage when the play stunk. So if they just hated it, they would sing it until the actors left.
So this is the audience singing it.
The audience would sing it, yes.
While a play is happening, they said, hang on, stop what you're doing, either because we're enjoying it or because we hate it. Yeah. We need to sing a song now.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Theater in the 1700s was pretty wild. Gotta be honest.
I gotta be honest, Kyle. I'm gonna do that the next time I go to Broadway.
You should, especially if it stinks, because I think you'll get better reviews.
If I sing that.
Yeah. It seems, again, very shaky evidence. If there is anybody who's in the Royal Navy out there, let us know. But it seems that the Royal Navy still plays this tune when entering their mess dinners.
Oh.
And supposedly the U.S. Marine Corps plays the tune when beef is brought out at their mess dinners. They just play a recording of it.
Sure. If it's like an instrumental version, though, because
yes,
there are tunes that exist that people only know as tunes, and then it's where does that come from? And it's wait till you hear.
yeah wait till you hear the lyrics.
So it could just be the tune is on a trumpet and no one knows the origins.
I think that is what it is. Yeah Anyway, the French must have caught on to all of this because they nicknamed the British les roast beef, and this brought us the English word roast beef, ROSBIF, which means beef roasted in the English manner, or an Englishman, specifically from the context of a foreigner.
Wow. So that's John Bull is we're proud to be British. Roast beef is ugh, Those
Yeah.
Brits.
Yeah, those roast beefs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what Seth would say.
That's what Seth would say. Yes, yes. Emily,
Yeah.
this reveals some sort of food rivalry here, with the British ragging on the French for being thin with terrible food, as the second verse of the Roast Beef of England continues. But since we have learned from all conquering France to eat their ragouts as well as to dance, we're fed up with nothing but vain complaisance.
Yep, that rhymes.
So John Bull is, at least sometimes, depicted opposite a thin Frenchman, who is sometimes referred to as Jean Crapaud, or Johnny Crapaud, or just Johnny Crap.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Just going all in.
Just going all in. Yeah. Thus, Emily, a Jean Crapaud could refer to a typical Frenchman, or the French, or France in general, while a Johnny Crapaud might be used as a derogatory name for a Frenchman.
Wow. Well, I've never heard that before, but I feel sort of glad.
Yeah.
'Cause this feels way harsher than roast beef.
I'm pretty sure there are recent, maybe not of Johnny Crapaud, but of Crapaud being used to describe the French.
Wow.
Yeah.
Harsh.
Yeah.
But that is another thing that Brits love, is to just dunk on the French.
It's true. It's very true. The Crapaud, Emily, in case you're wondering, in the Crapaud and Johnny Crapaud, is of course French for toad, presumably in reference to a stereotypical French fondness for frogs.
Yes. And that is another, rude nickname for French people, is frogs.
There's a lot of theories about why the French and frogs are such a stereotype, which we can't get into today, maybe someday in the future. But there's a ton of theories out there, and some more disparate than you might originally think.
Interesting. That's very cool.
But I found an example of this macritudinous, frog-hungry Frenchman stereotype in a parodic poem entitled Hymn to a Frying Pan. It reads, "Nor less in cooking's milder forms art thou, frogs fricasseed fresh from their native groves, while the lean Frenchman, famished, mutters low for dainties which his empty stomach loves."
Wow. I mean, love the alliteration.
It's good, right?
Good. It's just hilarious to me to mock a nation for being thin.
It was just that was the stereotype. I don't know why. It was too specific of a thing to figure out why in the 1700s the Brits were like, those thin jerks.
But I guess if you fully embraced that your emblematic man is portly,
big fat guy,
you're like, we've got to otherify them.
Yeah. An early political cartoon of Bull and Crapaud, titled Politeness, has them sitting with their backs to each other, and the caption reads, "With porter, roast beef, and plum pudding well crammed, Jack English declares that Monsieur may be damned. The soup-meagre Frenchman such language don't suit, so he grins indignation and calls him a brute." Have you ever heard of soup-meagre, Emily?
Is that a thing? I just assumed it was like one of those poetical things where they put the adjective after the noun.
That's what I assumed too, but actually, soup maigre or soup meagre was apparently first anglicized by Henry Fielding himself, who wrote the Grub Street Opera, from the French soup maigre. And it literally means thin soup or fish soup. And it was a soup made with vegetables or fish, a little butter, and condiments, and was eaten by Catholics on days of fasting. So this might be some sort of Catholic Presbyterian, sort of.
That is a classically a facet of the English-French rivalry.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maigre, maigre, means belonging to a fast or fast day, and in cooking can mean made without meat, and of a person can mean that keeps to a maigre diet.
A meatless diet.
A meatless diet, yeah.
But including fish, I guess, because it's fish soup.
That's like a whole thing. Yeah, Catholics can't eat meat, but they can have fish. It's not meat. It's also, Emily, a doublet of meager, M-E-A-G-E-R, or M-E-A-G-R-E if you're British, which means having little flesh, lean, thin, or poor, deficient, or inferior in amount, quality, or extent.
That makes sense. It's all of a similar theme.
Emily, can you guess where both mager and meager come from?
Is it the same root as macritude?
It comes from the Latin macere.
Wow.
Yeah.
This all makes sense.
Right? It all comes together.
It's all adding up.
All right, I've got one last song for you before we move on to our final segment, Emily. Another English tune about roast beef combines many of these ideas with these lyrics. Renowned sirloin of times decreed, the theme of English ballad. On thee even kings have deigned to feed, unknown to Frenchmen's palate. Then how much more thy taste doth exceed, soup meager, frogs, and salad.
What was the rhyme with salad there?
There was 3 rhymes. It was English ballad, Frenchman's palate, and then frogs and salad.
That's good.
Okay, Emily. The other example of macritude that's floating out there is from the 1782 A Dissertation on the Errors of Marksmen and Gunmakers and a Tract upon the Art of Shooting Flying by that most able park and gamekeeper and famous marksman, Mr. Lemon.
Of course I've heard of Mr.
We've
Lemon.
all heard of Mr. Lemon.
I've met him. I have his autograph.
You've got his autograph. Wow. Emily, tell us about Mr. Lemon. What was it like to meet him?
It was crazy because, like, I've only read his written works. I didn't realize he had a lemon for a head.
Yeah, I know.
That is why he is called that. It's sort of a nom de plume.
Yeah, he had a Gushers once, and
yes,
changed him forever.
Yeah. It's if you have a Gushers that has gone bad, that's expired, then it does do what it does in the commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what he learned. But he committed. He leaned in.
But he leaned in,
and he didn't give up his passion, which is hunting.
Guns.
Delightful.
Guns. Just guns. So, Emily, Lemon here is talking about how gun manufacturers aren't taking into account a gun user's height or length of arm when designing gun stocks, or the rear part of a rifle, the part that's pressed into the shoulder. And he makes the argument that there should be more customization for rifle owners. And in doing so, he says, the corpulent man, whose obesity renders him incapable of bringing his hands to meat before him, shall have his stock of the same length as the masculent man, whose macritude of body and procerity of arm enable him to clasp himself round with his own arms.
What was the adjective there? Masculent?
Yes, Emily, that word is masculent. So, procerity means height or tallness. He's talking about the length of their arms, the procerity. Do you think you know what masculent means? M-A-C-I-L-E-N-T?
Does it also mean macritudinous?
Yep, Emily. Masculent means lean, thin, emaciated, or shriveled, or having little flesh.
And does it come from the same root because it's got the M-A-C?
And like macritude, it comes from the Latin macies through macilentus.
Macilentus.
A 1620 book of poetry entitled A Description of Love offers a tidy summation of the word macilent in the epigram In macilentum. And it states, when first of all I macilent did see, an ugly spirit I thought for him to be, but since I know the cause he looked so grim, had hardly flesh enough to cover him.
Just skin and bones.
Macilent is a bit more common than macritude. It's sometimes used in medical contexts or in relation to plants. Some plants have like scientific names, or had scientific names at least, related to the word macilent, to talk about like the thin stalks and stuff. But some of the more literary examples can be quite evocative, such as in one translation of Émile Zola's L'Oeuvre, or The Masterpiece, in which he states, the girl was almost a child, one of those Parisian female urchins who retain the macilency of green fruit at 18.
That does paint a picture.
Emily, what kind of royal would you call your macilency?
I'm picturing like all of the like garb that she has to wear as a royal like weighs more than she does. So she's very like top heavy.
Like olive oil if she were queen.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. She's like going to like very gracefully step down the stairs and she just tumbles down.
Yeah, like a slinky. Yeah.
But then she lands just fine because she's like cartoonish in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So publisher Leonard Smithers uses this term to explain a verse of erotic poetry from the Roman poet Catullus, in which he's talking about the philanderer Gellius, saying, "The good condition and number of relations of Gellius are assigned as the causes of his masculinity, Gellius being an adulterer of the most infamous kind."
So his adultering makes him skinny? Like it's a workout? Or
yeah, the way he explains it is bad. The way that Catullus says it in his poem, which it was long, I didn't want to read it, but he's like, he has to stay lean in order to get so many women. Sure. You know what I mean?
He's just trying to stay cut. It's like when actors have to do a shirtless scene, they can't have a drink of water for like 2 full days.
Exactly, yeah. Horrible philanderer. He had sex with his uncle's wife, and like many times, and then it's insinuated that he also had sex with his uncle. So.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Anyway, Emily, lastly, when used figuratively, masculine can mean lacking in substance, as in a Stylus magazine review of Britney Spears' 2003 album In the Zone, which called it as lost and masculine and alluring and eager to please and disturbingly empty-eyed as she is.
Wow. I don't like that one.
It's sad, kind of that one. Yeah.
But it's a good use of the word, just not a good sentence.
Well, Emily, we've come to that moment. It is your turn to use the word in the sentence and to review some meager, masculine marvel and make great work out of the word macritude.
Macritude. I defy someone to find masculinity or macritude in the substance of our podcast.
I'd sing God Save the Queen if I knew the lyrics. What a beautiful sentence. Emily, that's the thinness that I have on macritude.
Really fun, Kyle. Yeah. That was some good... I mean, you know, you were left with a word without many uses, but the tangents that we got on were all super fun and still, like, very related to the meaning.
Fantastic. Are you ready for some fun with a game?
More fun. Yes.
More fun. Emily, your game is called Contains Multitudes.
Honestly, really good.
Thank you. I'm really proud of that one. So the tude suffix comes from the Latin suffix tudo, which was used to form nouns indicating a condition or state, as you so eloquently mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Yeah. Hence, macritude being the state of being meager. So today I'm going to explain some conditions and states, and you're just going to have to tell me which tude I'm talking about.
Love it.
Okay. Your first one is the state of being alone.
Solitude.
Solitude, Emily. Yes. From
Solitude.
Latin. Solitude. Oh, good. Now you have to do it for every one of them. Yes, Emily. Solitude from Latin solus, meaning alone, sole, or solitary, uninhabited.
Uninhabited. Yeah. That is a room that only I am in is uninhabited.
Physically, mentally,
soulfully.
All right, the way that I built in difficulty in this is the next one you have to guess two at the same time. So now you have to guess the state of being far and the state of being wide.
Oh, just longitude and latitude?
Yeah, you got it, Emily. You got it.
Nice.
Longitude and latitude come from the Latin longus, meaning far, long, and latus, meaning wide, broad. Not wide, broad. Wide and broad. Wide broad is a different thing.
Hell yeah, it is.
That's a John Rietta bowl. All right, Emily, for your last question, you've got 3 you have to guess.
Okay.
The state of being suitable, the state of being unsuitable, and one's state of mind.
One's state of mind?
Yeah. If you guess the first 2, the third one might come to you.
So, I mean, for suitable and not suitable, I'm thinking aptitude and inaptitude.
It's linguistically related. That's why these 3 are together.
I might have to give up on that last one, Kyle. I don't think I got it. I'm sure I'll know it when you say it.
You will. I'll give you 2/3 of a point, though, Emily. That's pretty good. Emily, the words we're looking for today are aptitude, ineptitude. I don't know why the letter changes for that, and attitude.
Attitude. I mean, that's gutting because literally from the moment you said macritude and I was thinking about the suffix attitude is what was in my brain.
Yep. I know. That's the easy one. But yeah, so they come from the Latin aptus, meaning suitable, and ineptus, meaning unsuitable. Attitude is a combination of aptus and actito, which means to do something often or repeatedly, through medieval Latin actitudo, meaning acting or posture.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like both of those words kind of worked together to create the word attitude.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. Those are all good tudes.
Good dudes.
And we're a couple of good tudes, you know?
We're a couple of good dudes. We got some good tudes on this podcast here.
That's right. And if you liked it, hey, everybody, remember you can watch us on YouTube at Butter No Parsnips, and you can find Butter No Parsnips on other social media on Facebook and Instagram at Butter No Parsnips Podcast, and on TikTok at Butter No Parsnips. If you liked today's episode, consider giving us a 5-star rating or review wherever you heard us.
And if you really liked today's episode, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/butternoparsnips. Donating $5 or more gets you exclusive access to Buttered Parsnips Hour After Hours podcast.
Thanks so much to all of you. You help us make what we make.
And with that, I've been Kyle Imperator.
And I've been Emily Moyers, and this has been Butter No Parsnips.
Butter No Parsnips is produced by Seth Glicksman, Emily Moyers, and myself, Kyle Imperator. The main and accompanying themes were composed by Kyle Imperator.